Okay, now to make the M14 on semi-auto only mode, first let's understand how the semi-auto function, or the semi and full auto function, works with this selector bracket. When you pop this part on, you have the selector switch on this side, and when you turn it forward, it pushes the cutoff lever all the way forward. Kind of like on a version 2, cutoff lever's out of the way, trigger contact can move freely. Actually, in this case, it goes that way. So what I want to do is eliminate this being moved. But I still need it, so it kicks the trigger contact off the contacts and cuts the power. Hence the name cut off lever of power. So what I'm going to do is, simple way is cut right here. So I'm just going to cut that real quick and be good to go. Use a very delicate tool. Cut that off and looks smooth. Might as well clean it up a little bit with the Dremel tool. Okay, looks good. Just make sure there's no like burrs or anything that would get snagged on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop this on. Okay, let me go ahead and put the rest of this in place. I don't need that now. Okay. So this will still be on the outside where you can turn it just for the looks, otherwise they have like this weird hole. But I've noticed sometimes people will just separate the upper and the lower, take the whole unit off, or just take off with a 1.5 Allen, take this off. So you have this little peg here, so it's not easy to turn. But based on your field limits and the rules, that's probably not acceptable, just because you can use a pair of pliers in your gear or whatnot and still adjust. It's not as easy as switching on the fly, but cutting this like internally, that's the safest and most law-abiding way that I can think of doing it, unless you run like a MOSFET control system. But anyways, okay, let's put this in here. So now nothing's going to touch this at all the way forward, all the way back. I just left this little eyelet here just so when I have this on here, this doesn't like get caught back here or just rattle around. Okay, put this little part in there, and I am going to put on silicone wire sets because it's always good to have low resistance wires. There's no point of having thin wire and a thick wire when you need all the power going to the motor to pull back that giant spring and all that. So what I'm going to do for now, and if you're curious of how to put this wire harness, the little springs all back together, I do have several other videos. I think two other M14 based videos on taking apart and putting back together. So in case you're not able to follow along, or if you missed some step or having trouble, it's always good to subscribe to the Echo1 Tech Support channel, just because you can see what's going on. Okay, there's what I have so far. I have the trigger, I can pull that. I select either mode, nothing's moving. The cutoff lever is staying always in semi mode, which is good. So let me, I guess, plug this wire in temporarily, the test, and I'm going to unsolder this wire. Let me adjust that a little. Okay, here is the wire set, harness, whatever you want to call it. Most likely the wire harness. That's what you'll find in a local store. What I'm going to do is I used our M16 wire harness set, and I basically scrapped out the junk I don't need, and I just have the silicone wires. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. You can always take like if you wanted, like what I did for the team Black Sheep M14 is I took the M16 wire harness with MOSFET, and I kind of cut it up reconfigured it so that the wire harness is attached here and the MOSFET's up here, you can do that. Just because it says for M16, you have to think outside the box, and then you can actually make it for M14. You can make it for, an AK. You can do whatever. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and prep these real quick. Okay, before I plug in a battery, make sure I let it cool. These plugs are really good at keeping heat and burning fingers, so just side note. Yep, still hot. Kind of press, build some slack. And good. Okay. Dean's plug on battery. Plug that in. Hey guys, welcome back. And in this video, I'm going to pop in the new hop-up bucking, drop the lower in, and test fire the gun and see how it's doing. So, okay. Put that aside now. All we have to do is get to the inner barrel and hop-up unit. Remember, our hop-up unit is supposed to be springy. If it's not springy, then it's either missing the spring, it wasn't put together correctly, and you're losing a lot of air because it's just kind of floating around and not up against the gearbox. You just have 4 screws, hold kind of clamshell the outer barrel together. I'm going to take that off. Okay, there's electrical tape I put on the previous video. Just going to put that aside, and for the hop-up unit, slide the little spring forward, a little clip, and a little tiny spring here. Don't lose that. This is like a little C-clip like you have for an M4, but just a different shape. Same idea of what it does, how it holds it in place. Slide this forward. Interesting. Okay. Okay. This could be why the barrel or the gun was shooting so low. It seems really soft. But not soft, but I mean like, just doesn't feel like a new one. Yep, sometimes you just have to replace it. So let me go ahead, new one. These are the new Mad Bull Orange buckings. You can check with Mad Bull. They are making buckings for us because we work hand in hand. This is also found in our 249 series and now some of our Stag series to replace the Blue series bucking. Same material, same high quality, everything. Just different color, just so I can update. Okay, when you look at the buckings, you have the black one, which is just pulled out of the gun. It's short compared to the Echo Orange. The reason why is just because the barrel cut. If you look at that, it's much shorter. So what I'm going to do is just get a pair of scissors and cut it. The main area of interest for the buckings is the front part, and then the area for the bucking nub area. Anything after that you really don't need, especially on the bottom. It's just there to kind of hold and keep an air seal. So let me just measure. Doesn't have to be exact, but at least close. So I'm just going to cut that, give it a little extra. Okay, put that aside. Okay, that's fine. What I'm going to do, let's get a little oil. This is silicone oil. Don't use WD-40, that destroys your gun and makes it cry. So just put a little on there. You don't want too much. Also, while I'm at it, let me check the barrel. Basically, you want to look through and make sure that the hop-up bucking, like the lip part, is a perfect circle. Otherwise, if it's like squished or whatnot, if you cram the barrel in there, it's not going to work. So make sure it's a circle and you're good to go. Once you verify that, and then you press on the hop-up. Right now I'm just pressing on here to add hop and release to reduce. I see that the nub is in place and the hop-up is working. So I'm going to go ahead, put the little C-clip back. It locks in place. And then for the little spring, what I want to do, springy. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and put it back together real quick. And let's test this. Okay. Okay, now that I have it together, I just put the mag release and like basically the trigger guard just like this so I can load up a mag. It's just Echo 0.20 BBs. What I'm going to do is basically fire the gun as like this. I don't need to put the frame on or anything. This is just for testing for FPS wise and just to shoot it real quick. Spend all this time on. Okay, now it's time to chrono. I have the trigger guard mag release on here with the mag full of Echo 2Os, only a couple. I'm not going to be shooting a lot. The LiPo and the chrono. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. Wind the mag. Okay, let me turn the chrono on. Okay, I'm just shooting into a BB catcher box. Okay, 500 with a Modify 140 spring. That's good, but not good. Okay, that's a little better. 477, 480, 484, 480, 483. The tout. Must be some crazy numbers. Okay, good news. I just got off my Facebook right there, and I talked to Captain Vermont, and he says 500 is perfect. So that's good. I was going to drop in a 130 and see how that goes, but the Modify 140 spring is for the win for him and his sniping. Okay, that concludes. I think this is video 4 now. I don't know. I'll double check. But okay, stay tuned for the final conclusion. I'm dropping this in the lower, range testing, and all that. I'm Brian from Echo1 USA, and thanks for watching.